G'day and welcome to ReDriven. Now look, normally we'd be shooting this at our usual location, which is the workshop at Quantum Mechanics, but thanks to a mischievous little global pandemic not going away, we're now shooting this in front of a green screen in my apartment. And I have no idea what Cal, the guy that edits these videos, has in mind for the background here, but I'm sure he's going to be sensible. Anyway, look, a few months ago we posted our top 5 overrated off-roaders list. The link for that video is just up there. But this time we wanted to get a bit more accurate and focus on utes and pickups. Also, we've decided that because that video did feature a couple of utes and pickups, we're not going to mention those particular models again, even though they probably do deserve to be in this list. Now, again, like that previous slightly controversial video, again, I'm nervous about this one because this is going to piss many of you off. But please know, again, we've reached out to multiple 4x4 technicians and mechanics, 4x4 accessory stores, even 4x4 driver trainers. So this video is the culmination of all of their expertise and knowledge, not just us. We're just the messengers here, so don't yell at us, go yell at them. Anyway, look, let's just get this thing over and done with. Here are our top 5 overrated utes/pickups. Okay, so we're going to get controversial right from the start. It's the Toyota Hilux. Let's get something straight right away. Look, there's no denying that the Hilux is awesome. It's got great reliability, it's got an incredible support network, it's excellent off-road, especially when modified correctly. But our experts raised some very valid points of why they feel it's overrated. While a Hilux with the right mods and accessories will conquer the vast majority of terrain out there, with the same mods, so will pretty much the majority of other utes in its class. Plus, when running standard suspension, the ride quality on-road is average at best, being bettered by many of its competition. And plenty of other utes just offer more equipment and features for your dollar over the Hilux. And that's the crux of its issues. Even when used, the Hilux is just far too expensive for what it is. Okay, yes, that price includes the use of Toyota's unrivaled support network, and you do pay for its reputation for reliability. But for the vast majority of those buying the Hilux, most owners will never venture deep enough into the wilderness to call upon that incredible support network or push the thing hard enough to truly test its reliability. Plus, thanks to Toyota's very regular service intervals, the cost of ownership quickly climbs as well. Our experts just feel that while the Hilux is excellent and supremely capable even in standard form, it's not really a standout as such when compared to some of the competition these days, and it certainly doesn't deserve its second coming of the Messiah image that so many Hilux fans bestow upon it. Now, we should mention that the Hilux only just beat the Ford Ranger to 5th spot, as it's another ute that is asking far too much money. But our experts just feel that the Hilux carries more of a lofty reputation and image than the Ford. But should I just start preparing for all of the death threats now? Yeah, probably. Okay, next up, as one of our experts so politely put it, this is the Nissan Navara for rich wankers. His words, definitely not ours. It's the Mercedes-Benz X Class. Let's get something straight. The X Class is pretty much a Nissan Navara wearing a classy outfit. Look, okay, sure, it has a wider track, a different suspension tune, improved NVH levels, and disc brakes for the rear wheels, amongst a few other things, not to mention the changes that occur when the Mercedes V6 is wedged under the bonnet. But there's no escaping. Fundamentally, and especially in 4-cylinder form, this is just a slightly fancier Nissan Navara, just a far too expensive one. See, certain people put a lot of gravity around brand names, people that will happily spend hundreds of dollars on a luxury brand plain white t-shirt when a $20 Uniqlo will more than do the job. And the X Class might be the ute for them. Don't get us wrong, the X Class is not a bad vehicle as such, and neither is the Nissan Navara that it's based on. Our review for the Navara is actually just up there. But our experts feel that the premium you pay for the Mercedes branding fails to provide any extra ability or ute-specific talent. Yes, the 6-cylinder X Class is a bit of a weapon in terms of performance, and look, it would want to be for what it costs. But the 4-cylinder variants, even on the used market, are just overpriced branding exercises, and therefore they're overrated. Here in Australia, for the price of an average 4-cylinder X Class, you can buy a full-fat Navara Warrior. And between these two, yeah, you should buy the Warrior. Okay, next up we have a ute/pickup that just doesn't make a whole lot of sense here in Australia, except for maybe a select few. It's the Chevrolet Silverado. Maybe it's just here in Australia, but a 4x4 ute or pickup should be a tough, reliable workhorse of a vehicle that can be loaded with crap while also carting your workmates or your family everywhere, from getting them to a job site or doing the school run to hooking up the coast for a holiday. The Silverado certainly has a tub and capacity big enough to load heaps of stuff, and the interior is massive, easily swallowing up whoever gets inside. But that's about where the positives end. These might seem completely appropriate in certain parts of the United States, but here in Australia, not so much, especially when you factor in what they cost. Pricing currently hovers anywhere from $100,000 to $160,000 for 2008 to 2020 Silverados. And for that, you'll be getting a ute that's far too big and heavy for loads of Aussie bush tracks. It'll be a nightmare to park in most Aussie cities. Forget entering the majority of multi-level supermarket car parks. And then there are the countless reports of dodgy build quality and reliability issues. Depending on the year and model, our experts have dealt with dangerously rusted brake lines, various suspension issues, engine issues, steering faults, huge oil consumption issues, air conditioning systems that fail and cost thousands of dollars to repair, through to poor quality paint that just isn't designed for Australian conditions. Add to this that thanks to their huge size and weight, the fuel consumption can be horrendous. The cost of consumables like tyres and brakes may require a substantial income all of their own, and many might assume that you've bought such a big truck to compensate for a lack of size somewhere else. Now, in saying all of that, look, there are those out there that do require the Silverado's very specific set of skills, like if you need to tow something equally as huge and heavy while filling the tray to the brim, while taking your entire family across the country, and you can only fit or afford one vehicle in your life, but you can also somehow afford the outrageous running costs, then okay, the Silverado does make sense, but otherwise, here in Australia, it's just overrated. Okay, next up, it's another ute/pickup that has all of the same problems as the Silverado, but it just offers an even more disappointing build quality and it costs more to buy. It's the Ram 3500. Again, obviously the 3500, it must make sense in the US, and even here in Australia, it does offer truly immense towing and load capabilities. But the problem is, our experts are seeing these Rams being used to provide more of an image statement rather than tow or load copious amounts of stuff. Even to the point that one of the technicians we spoke to told us about a certain Ram owner that uses a Hino light duty truck for his towing needs because he doesn't want to get his 3500 dirty. What a wanker. Add to this that out of all of the cars and trucks on the US market, Consumer Reports named the Ram 3500 as the least reliable vehicle that you can buy. The list of reported issues are immense. Fuel system and steering faults, suspension problems, endless electronic gremlins, body integrity issues, and just a shocking level of fit and finish. And the cost to buy one of these here in Australia? Anywhere from $150,000 to $200,000. That also doesn't take into account the silly fuel consumption or the near exorbitant costs for consumables and maintenance. Look, we don't deny that the 3500 is a brilliant tow vehicle, like when it's working. And like the Silverado, for a select few, it's the only vehicle that ticks all of their boxes. But for $200,000, why not just buy a light truck for towing and loading stuff and, say, a nice car for everything else? Now guys, if you're enjoying this video, can I ask a favor? Can you hit those like, subscribe, and bell buttons? And can you share this video as much as you can? Because the more you do that, and the more you share this, the more of these videos we can make. And hopefully that's a good thing. Okay, finally, it's a sad, sad vehicle, this one. Nothing screams out of touch like a Hummer. And for this category, it's the H2 SUT. The H2 SUT, look, it is bloody rare here in Australia. And thank God, because these are shit. The normal H2 is a completely and utterly rubbish vehicle in general, but the SUT was just a desperate attempt by Hummer to spruce up the range. Basically, cutting the back off a H2 SUV not only provides a puny crap little rear tub, but due to the spare wheel having to be relocated, attaching a trailer instantly becomes a nightmare. Then you have all the fake military-inspired tough features like the hoops on the bonnet and the covers on the tyre inflation valves that are absolutely pointless on the H2. The driving experience both on-road and off is abysmal, although look, it's probably best to avoid going off-road at all because these are just pretty crap at that. The engine, while sounding impressive being a 6-litre V8, manages to send the H2 from 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in a very pedestrian 9.8 seconds, but doing so will swallow dozens of litres of fuel, while the whole vehicle will attempt to rattle and shake itself to pieces thanks to the almost comically bad build quality. The thing is, but for some inexplicable reason, the H2 does have its fans, and there are many out there that assume a Hummer ute pickup thing must be a tough workhorse capable of all the great ute/pickup stuff. But it just isn't. Because it's shit. The Hummer H2 in SUV form must surely be the most embarrassing vehicle you can buy, but the SUT version surpasses embarrassing and delves into the realms of just sad and unfortunate. Now guys, before we wrap this up, we have something of an honourable mention. Like, we don't think this next car is overrated, but is it overhyped? It's the Ford Ranger Raptor. Here's a question for you, especially if you own one of these. How many Raptors are actually being used to the full degree that they were designed and engineered? Look, we don't doubt that these things are bloody awesome and they can tackle some incredible terrain. But as we alluded to in our top 5 underrated 4x4 utes / pickups last week, the link for that video is just up there, we do see a lot of Raptors that have clearly never been taken off-road, let alone pushed to the levels of off-road performance that they are capable of. And that begs the question, is the Raptor actually more for those desiring a certain image rather than a terrain tackling truck of terror? Let us know in the comments. Actually guys, let us know what you think of this entire list. And remember, can you please hit those like, subscribe and bell buttons and share the video and go and check us out on the socials, because the more you do of all that, again, the more of these videos we can make. See you next time. What a f***ing shit show this one is, mate. Sorry, dude. This is the Nissan Navara for rich. It's the Silverado's very specific set of skills, capabilities. Oh, come on, Morris. It's the least because it's shit.